So let's start off with Pandas interview series. We got to select the year, the content rating, and the duration for all the movies between Lion King and Little Prince. Okay. Hello, hi everyone. My name is Chirantan Lonkar and I work as a data scientist and a data science trainer with Futurense Technologies. So it's very much evident that we want to select three columns, and across the three columns we want to select all the records. But those all the records have to be between Lion King and the Little Prince. We start off with the most basic thing, which is we import the pandas library. Next, what we do is that we read the CSV file. If you know, we are using pd.read CSV, and as it suggests, it is used to read the CSV file. If it's an Excel file, you will be using read_Excel. I am importing a file called as movie.csv, and in this case, if you see, I have set index column equals to title. When I run movie.head, you can see, you can look at the output. All the values have been mapped against the index column, which is title. Let's go down now. What do we want to do? We want to select year, content rating, and duration for all the movies. So what have I done? I have wrapped what I want inside a function. Okay. How do we write a function? It's very easy. You start off with something called as a def keyword. When I write def keyword, Python understands that, hey, this guy has to write a function. Okay. And please note, this is a private variable. Okay. Because this is a private variable, it is highlighted. It is not a public variable. You cannot name def as ghi or something else. It has to be named def. I call the function, or rather I name the function by movie_selection, and I pass in a data frame. Okay. Please note, here we are calling the data frame by the name movie. Okay. Now inside this, I am also inside the docstring. I'm going to mention what am I going to pass in as a parameter and what do I get in return. Okay. Please note, this is called as a docstring. And why do I write a docstring? Docstring is basically written to tell you some information about what the function is performing. In this case, I am passing in the parameter as df.dataframe, and it's going to return a data frame itself. Okay. So I write a function, I give a name to that function, I pass in a data frame into that function, and then what does it return? Now what we are doing is that in the return function, we're also going to put what we want to extract, and we're going to extract that with a .lock method, which is an extraction technique used in pandas. I'm going to use a .lock technique. Now guys, there are two types of techniques. There is a .lock technique, there's a .ilock technique. There's a very small and a very subtle difference between both of them. When do I use .lock? .lock is basically used, let's say I'm going to I want to slice the records from, let's say, 0 to 10. Okay. So I'll put in the range from 0 to 11. Why? Because it will slice the records from 0, which is the starting index, to n minus 1. In this case, n is 11. So 11 minus 1 happens to be 10. So I'm going to slice the first 10 records. So whenever I want the first 10 records, I'll be giving the range from 0 to 11. But in the other case, when I'm using ilock, when I say 0 to 10, it will extract the 10th record as well. Okay. So in ilock, n minus 1 doesn't work, but in lock, n minus 1 works. That is a very small and a subtle difference between lock and ilock. In this case, I'm going to use df.lock. So I return df.lock and I return something. Now what do I return? Firstly, a very small thing to notice and remember, anything to the left of comma are all the rows, okay, or the records. Anything to the right of comma are all the columns or the attributes. Now if you look at what are the columns that I'm trying to extract, I'm trying to extract your content rating and duration, the columns that have been asked. Please note, I have given them in a list. Okay, I've given them in a list. Why? Because there are multiple columns to be extracted. If there was just one column, there was no need of a list. And if you look at the left hand side, I am going to extract the records from the Lion King to the Little Prince. Okay, so all the records from Lion King to Little Prince across the columns year, content rating and duration will be extracted. And now what do? I have now executed a function. Once you have done executing a function or defining a function, I need to call that. I call the function movie selection and I pass in the data frame. In this case, what is the name of the data frame? It's movie. So I pass in the name of the data frame, which is nothing but movie. And we get the desired output. Okay. Please note, why do we use a lock command or a lock function? It's basically to filter out the records. Okay. And the same work is done by .ilock also. The same can be done with the help of .iat also. Okay, so if you ask me, you can use .lock, .ilock, and .iat method as well. Okay, so this is the way in which we are going to extract the or rather answer the first question. Okay, so what have we done in a nutshell? Again, we defined a function, we returned something. What did we return? In the return function, we applied df.lock. Inside df.lock, we gave the number of rows that we want and the columns that we want, and then we called the function and we passed in the data frame. One very small thing, people usually confuse between what are parameters and arguments. When I define a function, I give parameters, and when I'm calling the function, I give arguments. It's a very small difference. Okay.